Done. Okay, guys, good afternoon to all of you. I'm just discussing few stats in the BFSI industry and sharing some good list which would be helpful for your sales reps as well, and some information about those lists. So, and this will definitely help you in some multi-million annual business over the period of time. Of course, FY21 has maybe some 6-7 months left, so it would definitely help to nurture those accounts for FY22. So let's look at some of the stats which I have gathered. Right. So after the COVID, we have seen 68% of Indian consumers are now using online or mobile banking, which is a need of contactless service for most of these BFSI companies to conduct financial transactions, right? And as of March 31st, 2019, number of debit and credit cards issued were 925 million and 47 million respectively. So you can see the credit cards are much lesser than the debit cards, and that's also the old data. So you would have seen some jump over the last 1.5 year, and this data is shared by some banking associations also. So it doesn't get updated on a regular yearly basis, right? Number of internet user subscribers in India has increased to over 745 million at the end of March 2020. So you can see how many customers banks have currently, and what reach, not just bank but any non-banking financial services companies also, NBFCs or insurance companies. If you look at their current customer base, would not be more than 100 200 million probably, and the amount of reach they can have, I'm talking about the bigger ones, they have 100 200 million. The rest of the ones don't have that reach also. India's insurance penetration is one of the lowest across the world, and you can see here on the right hand side there's a graph. We are way below than most of the developed countries and emerging economies, and that's where we see a great potential of insurance industry in Indian market, and that's where these companies would need digital marketing or CX application to reach out and acquire new consumers as we progress in FY21, FY22. And India's brand equity foundation, as per the brand equity foundation, the insurance industry is expected to reach 280 billion by 2020. Right? And then you have some stats of internet user, which is little old data, but at least gives an idea that there are 205 million urban Indians are there, internet users, while rural has crossed that already, and of course in last couple of years it would have gone much beyond that, and you can see age-wise distribution also. So these are some important stats where people can relate their businesses, why digital banking is so important, because your age distribution would also matter here. The young generation would prefer to leverage this digital marketing contactless digital platforms, contactless platforms, to interact with these banks and BFSI companies, right? And then new business of life insurance companies in India has increased at CAGR of 15% to reach 2.3 trillion rupees, or 37 billion dollars in FY20. Right? And so it is expected to grow at 12 to 15% annually for the next 3 to 5 years. And the non-life insurance market rose from 15% to 56% for private sector companies. Earlier, it was heavily dominated by some of these government players like LICs and for life insurance, while today the private players have market share of 31.3% for a new business in FY20. So which was heavily dominated by LIC in the past, right? And the Association of Mutual Funds in India is targeting nearly five-fold growth in assets under management to rupees, or I would say $1.47 trillion. And they're expecting more than 3 times growth in investor accounts to 130 million by 2025. So these companies definitely need the applications which would reach out to wider audience to help them to acquire those companies. And they're all fighting for those customers, the same set of customers, right? So whoever is better digital marketing applications, customer experience application would be able to reach out to this audience faster. And as you can see already, you know, in FY20 we had some 404 billion US dollar assets under management for mutual funds, but within half a year, within 6 months or so, more than that, we have already reached that level in FY21. So you can see how many people are now investing into mutual funds, and all these guys, the various companies are fighting for that same pie of those consumers. So whoever can attract, give them better user experience, would get those customers on their platform. Right. And then look at the digital ad spend market in India. And this is 2019 data, right? And what is the growth potential? So as you can see, advertising industry as such on the left hand side in the first chart here is 68,000 crore, and out of that 13 to 14,000 crores is a digital advertising agency. And if you see the growth potential of that, it is expected to grow to 29,000, 28,000, the digital ad agents industry to 28,000 crore, and by 2025 it should be 58, 59,000 crore. And if you look at BFSI segment spend, the maximum share of its ad spend budget on digital, which is around 42%. And the other chart shown here is about how much of that digital advertising industry pie is shared by various industries. And the BFSI industries are number 3, number 4 here. As you can see, 10% of that is spent by BFSI, which is around 1400 crore. Right. So, and these are data points. Why it is important? Because based on these data points, I have arrived that the BFSI is going to spend around 5,000 crore on digital marketing agency in next 2 to 3 years time frame, based on these data points. And out of that 5,000 crores could be easily around 300 to 400 or 500 crore would be easily spent on email marketing kind of a solution, because digital ad industry also contributes various other channels, and some of these data points also reflect that what people prefer as far as the digital marketing investment is concerned. So one of the charts you can see on the left hand corner here, for
ये
each,
रख दिया क्या ना?
sorry, for each 1 rupee of marketing investment, which digital channel offers the highest measurable revenue impact for your business? And that's where the email marketing is showing the best one. The paid search is growing fast. And on the right hand side, on the lower corner, you can see another chart where what B2B and B2C companies are preferring as a part of their online marketing or digital ad spend channel. So of course the email marketing has much more share there, or preference there, apart from those various the channels, right? So these are very good data points to also discuss with your banks or BFSI companies, which would encourage them that why should they look at digital marketing? Because if they are going to be behind in this race, they are going to lose those prospects or leads. Yeah. And all of you must have seen this slide talking about the customer experience is no more linear. People are interacting with the brand on different channels and devices at different point of time in the consumer journey. And what is important here is, uh, with the amount of people having that access to the internet, and they are landing on these BFSI companies' websites or digital properties, if they are not able to actively listen to those consumers, as you can see, the stat shows that they would be get stolen by the digital savvy operators. So they would see 50% fewer visitors to their website, 50% fewer inbound calls, inquiry, and 70% fewer branch visits. So these are some of the stats collected globally. And then if they're not able to discover that audience, and then of course the engagement part is latter one, where we have seen that we get generally frustrated when you see that our call center is only available from 5 to sorry 9 to 6 p.m. So that's very frustrating experience. So what if the companies don't have omni-channel presence, 24 by 7 presence, they are going to lose 50% of their prospects, and they would defect to those companies who are offering that omni-channel experience. And that's where we talk about those ODA, the Oracle Digital Assistants, where or the various other channels where people can interact with those banks or the financial services industries. And as you can see that those people who are losing those leads because of lack of omnichannel presence, they are going to spend 50% more on marketing for leads. Now, once these customers are qualified, they become prospects, and they don't see that experience, they don't see that simplicity or convenience and transparency while transacting on the business on those digital properties. They will go to those innovative vendors. So 30% of the prospects in the pipe defect to easy to do business with the banks. And this is where again your policy automation tool would help. And I can tell you this India first policy automation tool is a fantastic configuration. The lady Anjana Rao, who drives that digital transformation there, is ex-Oracle, and she's a very good friend of mine, and she is driving this initiative for last 6-7 years. And I've personally seen that you just provide that information, few details, and it comes out with a detailed statistics and report about your various aspects of life insurance policy. And if you can showcase that live to any customer in this insurance industry, they would love to have that policy automation or intelligent advisor solution. And that's the experience we are talking about. And the ODA, for example, we have very few ODA live instances in India or across globe. But you look at Bajaj Electrical's ODA, which is called as PADI, a very impressive work done there. And this can definitely, and Premal knows we showcased ODA in one of the prospects case, very detailed demo, and the prospect was very impressed with the solution. There was no pending question at the end of the demo. Every question was addressed while showcasing the demo, right? And then after the consumption of those services or purchasing those services, the next phase, which talks about serving those customers. If you're not able to care about those customers as a bank or BFSI company, the customers would see a churn, or you would see a churn of those customers. So, and it takes almost 10 times cost to acquire a net new customer versus retaining existing customers. And this is what we also talk about in our own internal install based campaigns, right? And that's where it comes from a solutioning point of view. We have this Infinity streaming and tracking solution, which will collect those behavior of those every event of those customers on a digital properties, analyze that information, and segment those customers, right? And that information is then leveraged by engagement tools like your responses or Eloqua or Maximizer and various other tools, which would help to personalize those communications with the consumer, hyper personalize those interactions of the consumer on the digital property using Maximizer. And you must have seen the Bajaj Finserv case. So many channels. We have almost eight channels now addressed, and that's a great case study. We should probably record that conversation from Bajaj Finserv and start distributing that with various other FSI companies, because that would give a lot of confidence to them about your capabilities, which not many people can offer. And that has given, and I'm not talking about Bajaj Finserv here, but definitely this kind of a discovery and engagement process integrated with in Infinity with responses or Eloqua and Maximizer and the data management platform has increased the 200% open rate, and 900% click-through rates for some of our customers, increased 200% revenue per email, right?
Satya,
And
Rakesh
then
here. Actually, just before we get into solutions, since we were talking about market trends and behavior, so I have a couple of questions. Or do you want, I think, to
I would
run the
suggest,
presentation?
let's finish that and then
And then I'll ask.
yeah, great, yeah. So now we are talking about Unity, right? And all of you are, most of you must be knowing customer intelligence platform, which collects data from various sources. In fact, most of these banks and FSI companies will have their own systems like Finacle or our iFlex solutions, and then they have OPSAs. So you have data lying in different sources, and it's important to have that data collated from the different sources, from CRM systems, from your interactions on the website or digital properties through streaming, either Google Analytics or Infinity streaming, and different channels. Then you can also bring in some DMP third-party data wherever it is feasible, especially on the NBSP size where you don't have those regulatory constraints, and then bring that data, unify that data on a Unity platform, and enrich that data with various other attributes like lifetime value or the engagement scores and various other scores. And then Unity helps you in intelligent segmentation of that audience. It helps you in recommending the right campaigns and contents based on the past performance. So it does predictive analytics around that, and then helps you to drive those applications, which is like AI-driven applications like responses, Eloqua, depending on B2 or B2B or B2C cases, or Maximizer for hyper personalization, and various other applications. It could be loyalty cloud, it could be service cloud. Those interactions are driven by the intelligence provided by CIP, Customer Intelligence Platform. And as you can see here, this is just a snapshot of one screen. It shows the 360-degree view of the customer, and in the next best offer, it shows that what the sales rep will be selling to this customer. He should be selling or upselling credit card or travel policy or maybe a loan based on the information available, and that is driven by this AI ML capabilities of Unity, which is giving you the information about what next best offer you can have to the customer. And this is very important in the current world, especially when some people have distressed assets, or they are not able to honor their EMIs, and you are keep bombarding them with the marketing communication. How this information about these customers can be leveraged, and so that you can take them out of those marketing campaigns intelligently, and not again sending them those kind of combination when they don't have currently those capabilities or capacity to buy those offers, right? And that's where in the current world this is also very relevant. A lot of marketing campaigns run by the companies don't even look at those service information or account information. They just bombard emails after email. Right, and these are some of these banking solutions templates which we have, from discover, engage, consume to the service phases of the consumer or customer experience life cycle. So all of you must have seen this in some of those presentations of Alberto and various other FSI industry presentations. So it would differ from different FSI industry segment. For example, here business banking, you have this account origination or loan origination functionalities would be available as a part of demo. While in the case of life insurance, it would be policy quoting information. Again, it would be delivered through Oracle Intelligence Advisors kind of solutions. And then we have this Oracle Bank in Box connected front end to back end, the solution which we are talking about for large banks, right? So now let's look at what is the potential in this industry. That's a brief about the FSI industry. But if you look at the potential, now I have captured some of this nice information which you can leverage. So I have something around 25 top insurance industries with their data points. So what was their FY19, FY20 revenue? Of course, I don't have the latest data to capture. It requires a lot of efforts to capture that information. But then I have captured their net profit, some of these industries, net profit, website information, their monthly traffic, their customer base, and when you go on each of those websites, you may find their current install base information. Also, they keep talking about how many customers they have, especially in the insurance segment. They keep talking how many policies they have sold so far as a part of their promotional activity, right? And you see monthly traffic. And why I'm capturing this information, because this gives an good amount of train that what kind of interaction these companies would have on email, SMS, or various other channels from a digital marketing perspective. So you can see I've captured some of this information. Ram also helped me to get that information from his Netcore days. ICSA Prudential Lifecycle sends around 2 billion plus emails. And I'm just talking about emails, not even SMS or other communications. HDFC Life Insurance talks about 1.5 billion plus emails, and this is probably a year-old data. Definitely, it would have gone up in the COVID times because more and more people are adopting, more and more BFSI companies are adopting to digital marketing during COVID days when they don't have face-to-face consumers coming to their branches and discussing about those insurance policies, or they don't have those agents going to those customers' places to sell those insurance policies. Right. So there is a tremendous question. Now you can see that any company which has 2 billion plus emails on an annual basis, plus SMS and other communication, would be easily at the maximum discount. It would be easily 500K kind of a deal, right? So and you can see some of them could be 200, 300K, and I see I think Premal is also working on few deals in that segment, and hopefully they are above 100K kind of a deals, right, in the insurance segment. And so you can see the monthly traffic also an indicator that what kind of a consumer, what kind of a traffic is coming on their digital property. So if I'm getting a 400K traffic on my digital property on a monthly basis, that means it's like for 40,000 for 40 lakh, right? 40 lakh, is that 40 lakh? No, 4 lakh. Yeah, 4 lakh traffic on a monthly basis. So it would be around 50 lakh traffic on an annual basis. Uh, and that would help you to arrive at what kind of a retargeting is required for these consumers, so that you can. So currently they might be just sending out those communication to existing customers they have. If you add to the prospects which they are going to retarget based on the Infinity information or the streaming information coming from either Infinity or Google Analytics and integrated with the responses kind of tool, they would be leveraging that interactions on a digital property to send out more and more communications. So they currently don't do that. Frankly, if you look at, I've gone to some of these insurance website. I tried to in fact, you get maximum information submitted on insurance website, which no other website captures that. For example, you have to end up even sharing date of birth and various other informations on insurance website to get the information about policy premiums. And with that, so much of detailed information, including email IDs and mobile numbers, they don't even retarget. They don't even come back to. And I've seen that generally in Feb, March, you to save some tax, you try to search for good policies, medical policies, and try to buy that. Even during that period, they don't do any retargeting of those consumers. So just imagine how much business they are losing if they're not retargeting or rapidly retargeting those consumers with the help of digital marketing tools and engage with those consumers so that they can convert on their digital properties. And some of them rely on those aggregators like Policy Bazaar or Bank Bazaar to sell those policies, and they end up spending a lot of money on those platforms. In fact, I have heard that I personally had a discussion with some of these aggregators. They are getting paid by these banks or policy insurance companies for running the campaigns for them and sell those products on their digital properties rather than trying to get those consumers on their own digital properties. So this is one, again, on general and medical insurance, you can see 25, 30, and with the revenue and profit information, you can analyze that what should be my top opportunity, which I should focus as a part of my immediate need. And maybe you can skip some of those Kotak Mahindra General Insurance, which has just 225 crores revenue, or Aditya Birla Health Insurance, which is just 375 crore revenue. But they must be probably looking forward to have more and more install base, or their growth expectation would be multifold over the period of next 3-4 years. Though they are very small at this point of time, based on their vision, you can definitely encourage them to go for digital property than those established players. So there is a possibility that those established players may not require those digital properties, but digital marketing applications, but you may have those Kotak Mahindras or Manipal Signas or Max Bupas requiring such kind of a tools to bring those customers on their platform uh, to acquire those customers on their digital properties, so that they can pull some of that common pool of customers from other insurance companies to their platforms. Right? Now, similarly, I have substantial data points on NBFCs. The top NBFCs, as you can see, the amount of revenue in terms of crores they are generating on in FY29 or sorry FY19 or FY20. That's a huge 36,000 crore, 40,000 crore. You can see Bajaj Finserv has 8 million monthly traffic, and and a substantial install base. So here, Aditya Birla Capital has 200 lakhs, like 2 crore install base. So sorry, I missed the L figure there. And then 1.3 million traffic. So you can imagine with that customer base, even if they are contacting those customers once in a week on email and other channels, they are at least interacting with those customers at least 10 times in a month, and then 100 times in a year at different point of time for upselling, cross-selling products, or communicating about their policies, or there could be transactional emails or SMSs which are going apart from promotional emails. So you can imagine that comes to around billion plus interactions in most of those top life insurance companies or NBFC companies. Some more data points about NBFCs now. I have more than 50 NBFCs I have picked up here. The top NBFCs based on the revenues in FY19, FY20, and their profitability is also mentioned. So I have captured their websites also, so that yeah, the reps don't have to search that information again. They can just click on it and get more information about their customer base, traffic, and they, uh, they can with the built-in tools and your other tools, they can find out current landscapes there, based on those tools, whether they are using Adobe or Netcore or any other product, and then identify what is the CX footprint they would like to position in those NVCs. So similarly, I have those top housing finance companies captured here, and then we have top broking companies, right? And then top mutual fund companies. As I said, mutual fund companies, you would have seen that one of the stats mentioning they want to reach out to 130 million. That's the target they are want to bring those customers on, or they want to sell the mutual funds to 130 million customers over the period of next 2 to 3 years. So that's a substantial reach they are expecting. And these companies would require digital marketing application to reach out to those wider audience. And especially with the internet penetration now, they can go to tier 2, tier 3 cities and acquire those customers uh, either through digital marketing channels or digital properties channels, or they may have local agents who can influence that consumers to buy their funds, mutual funds or insurance policies, or any products related to loan and other services they have. And then I have captured the top private banks. Of course, the private banks mostly will have some or other solution by now, the top ones. But there are some small finance banks or some the next 20 or next 10 banks, apart from top 10 banks. They definitely need some solutions so that they can acquire more and more customers, to reach out more and more customers. So that's substantial data I have captured. Now we can leverage some of our success stories like Bajaj Finserv or SBI Cards or India First, TVS Credit, Angel Broking, again a very successful customer of Service Cloud, Cholamandalam. If we can create these videos or success stories and start sharing as a part of our initial conversation, that would definitely encourage these customers to talk to us. And then we have a lot of global customers here as a part of CX footprint. So this is just an action plan. This is my idea. Of course, you may have your own suggestions how to take it forward. And I have almost 200 BFSI companies captured in this presentation, along with various data points. But let's pick up 150 BFSI companies and target 10 conversions over the period of next 6 months at 200, 250K, or whatever is the amount. But even if you can achieve million plus in this year, and then probably with the progression of those accounts for the next year, we can definitely target 2 to 3 million easily. And you would have seen that these companies, once you acquire them, they continue to give renewals and expansion business, as you would have seen Bajaj Finserv or SBI card. And what you acquire here will definitely help you in next year. So that's an additional expansion business apart from net new customers you are acquiring. And as I mentioned, the initial is that banks are the most money spenders on digital advertising compared to any other industries, right? Of course, e-commerce is one of them, the biggest one, but the banks are second in terms of a percentage of spend on digital advertising or overall ad spend, right? And ABN campaigns by sector, you can have all these marketing folks like Sarvagya, at least targeting those big companies, big BFSI companies, trying to get the contacts, and then trying to engage the partners. Like I've seen Infosys engaged in Federal Bank, and I don't know about ICS and other places. How we can proactively engage these partners, the big partners who are driving such deals right in the beginning with these BFSI companies, at least top 50 out of those 200 BFSI companies I have shared, and then bombard them or share, communicate them with various success stories. And unfortunately, I couldn't find a single video of any of those success stories here. And Bajaj Finserv, if you can get the videos done, or SBI card, that would greatly help in rest of the BFSI companies to encourage them to have that conversation. And we have done such a the amount of efforts we have spent in ICICI demos or Federal Bank demos, or various other life insurance companies demos, that if we can have that as a reusable assets and replicate those demos to other banks, even if it is maybe early stage, but to have that conversation, to nurture those, to encourage them to have further communication, we can just replicate those demos and showcase those demos to these companies, and try to see how we can progress them quicker. And then we can work on optimized bundle pricing and proposal. I'm sure the product management team can work out on that. You can have the like the CX Summit event, we can have specifically a BFSI event where we can invite some of these Bajaj Finserv or SBI cards customers to talk about what we have done to their places to improve the retention of those customer, increase the reach of those customer, conversion rate of those campaigns, right? And that would greatly help in CXOs. Like we used to have those CXO meetings or CEO meetings in some of those the palaces in Rajasthan. I remember, I think Rakesh and some of you may have gone to those places to meet those CXOs. Something which is very specific to banking or BFSI segment would definitely help to drive this SMT engagement of APAC or Shelly or any of those top leaders with those CXOs of these companies. And I can tell you there are at least 15-20 of these customers are either using HCM or ERP cloud application. So we already have a connect there. At least 15 or 20 of them are definitely using HCM cloud application. So we'll have the connect there. We have to, and some of them are live customer success stories. Are I've seen videos of those published of those customers on LinkedIn and on a regular basis. So we can definitely reach out to those people and see how we can connect with those CIOs and CMOs in those companies. So that's a brief about my data points here.
No, so Satyajit, in fact, great. In fact, although we have done some other work, but the kind of research and depth you have gone. So I'll reserve my comment for now. There is all other people who are there, including Nitesh, who's running this GTMI, and along with Ratnesh. So yes, people just give your the observation, the kind of things which we can build on. Considering that we'll get support from the corporate, and if we need some funds, if we need some extra marketing support, considering everything will come by, then what we should be doing and how you want to progress, and any comment on this presentation. So just go forward on that, and then I'll reserve my comments.
Yeah, hi, this is Nitish. So I think Satyajit, this is a good presentation and you collected data. So I know some of the data were like 2018 or so, right? But that's okay. That's how things are progressing. And we are in the middle of this pandemic. So may not be having all kind of data. Maybe coming year, we'll have all those kind of analysis done for this phase, what we have. But yes, we are, running those kind of GTM sessions along with Ratnesh and our PR team also. Couple of more things which probably you can pull those data because you are engaged with some other geographic also, epic or those kind of how is it things are happening over there, because I heard some of the banks, they are closing only a CDM kind of a or CDH kind of a deal, just streamlining their customer data hub rather than going for entire CX transformation. So not necessarily that everybody is going to change entire thing. Sometimes customer have a very small pain point, and if we can address those pain point then and there only, then we can land and expand.
Yeah.
So if you can pull those kind of information also, where we can take learning and then we can run also. But
Yeah.
yes, on the engagement side, yes, we plan some sort of a initial set of a plan we had is a blasting all emails very personalized for banking sector and insurance sector also. So we blasted the entire set of email. Second phase, which is under design right now, a couple of sessions we had done on a webinar as well, where we had a session on a financial specific webinar. The another phase which is going on is basically linking whoever has opened the email, then a second wave which is targeting on a LinkedIn also. So that is an under design phase right
But how
now.
many of those BFSI companies we have targeted so far?
So we have taken a Cat-A and Cat-B, which is almost close to I think 3,500 or so, including entire thing. No, sorry, no, not 3,500. It's a different. It was 135. Yeah, it's a 135.
So I would first of all, Nitish, I would say that our market is very, very different from other regions. First of all, right? Because
Yeah,
their market is more of a saturated market, especially the developed countries, right? They don't have so much of population which is not penetrated so far in terms of banking products or insurance products. So here the potential is huge. The potential, we don't have such a GDPR, such a difficult regulations in India so far. So
right.
we are a bit open compared to other countries. So our potential for digital marketing is much higher than any other region. That's why I won't like to compare with any other region.
No, that's you are true, very much true. Reason is, see, if you look at now, we are getting our responses in our data center. Earlier,
Yes,
everybody used to ask, okay, everything is looking very wonderful, but do you
absolutely.
have this application in India? And the moment we say no, it is not there. So some of the companies, they were kind of adventure in nature. Bajaj Finserv is one of them, and SBI cards. They were able to at least explore the power of even not having, responses in India, but still they are getting
Yeah.
benefit of that. But some of the
Yes.
customers, they are more like internal process. My CISO will not allow. No,
No,
that's
that's the
my
reason.
perception.
The
So
reason why I'm presenting this is because the response is coming to our data center.
yeah,
So
right.
even I would not have presented it,
True,
because I
true,
know the
true.
constraints. We have gone through those challenges in ODP market also with
Yeah.
those fintech companies objecting to that, and I know that that was a challenge. Now that is getting resolved, and that's where we should be focusing on. The other difference from other markets to us market is our younger population, which is digital savvy, which is mobile savvy, and that's where digital marketing spend is continue to grow substantially. And you would have seen that 60
Right.
60,000 crore digital marketing ad spend is going to be there in India. So
True.
that's the difference between other markets and our market. So we should not even compare those markets. We should have our own
So
strategy.
from growth perspective, it is you rightly said, we really have a high growth here. See, the another area which we need to consider is our customers are very price sensitive as compared to anyone else, right?
Now that's
So
where I said the pricing
yeah,
bundle. See, frankly speaking, we had done a good deal with the PM team a year back on a SMB market,
yeah,
and we had even got a couple of bundles agreed by the PM team. One of them was like unlimited interactions bundle, right, which was good, above 500K deal. and you have unlimited interactions on Maximizer, Infinity, Responses, and DMP. 3-4 products were bundled together.
Right.
So now, of course, those are for SMB market, but you can, Rakesh can or Shobit, both of them can spend time with the product management team and share this potential of the market, and share their concern that if you have to, replace or rip and replace those products like Netcore, which has a huge presence in BFSI segment and minting money with 30-40 million dollars business every year. Even if you take 5%, even if you take or even in MoEngage and WebEngage are heavily into that. So there is 100 million pie among these 100 million revenue among these 3-4 vendors, right?
Right.
They will
Right.
have
Right. Right.
even if you take out that 5% of that, that's a 5 million business for
True.
us.
True. True.
And
True.
if you can tell these data points to these guys and tell them that you won't get such business elsewhere in the world, and no country will buy so much of a volume because of their
So
population,
I
because of
agree,
their
Satyajit, no doubt
older
about that.
age population, right?
So I agree. In fact, we had given us some data point about just getting a live experience in India also. So sometimes our product team is into different direction and what we are in different direction. So those are internal challenges there. So Rakesh, I was thinking one more thing here. Probably like we have a bank in a box. We need to create such kind of a package also where we can have a bank in a box which is ready from all this our licensing implementation perspective and ready to take it to the customer. So it could
Very
be a
great idea.
in a kind of a mutual fund in a box, it's kind of a SME in a box, those kind of thing, where we are ready from our implementation partner also. This is my package, which gives a predefined set of a functionality typically required for, let's say, SME, let's say for a security business or asset under management companies or those kind of companies. So if you have such kind of a 3-4 packages, we agree with the product team also, and we say we need to give us a really good pricing and the entire detail. That will
Understood.
really
No, that's a great idea, Ritesh. In fact, that is the innovative and creative way we need to see. Because if we continue to compete with RFPs, which will come, but
yeah.
if we don't proactively approach bank with innovative way, where one their pain towards procurement and evaluation becomes easy, they see there is a one-stop solution, and then we give them enough flexibility while even giving that box kind of option, where they can tick mark all the functionalities and choose whatever they want, whatever small box they want within the big box, right? They can
Right.
choose the big box and they can be small. Now, in order to get that approval going, and I will reserve my comment for other things, but for particular this thing, there can be two combinations. One is what we work with the product team, get all the product together and create a bundle as an SKU and then try to sell it. That is one way to do it, right? Where we
Right.
create a separate SKU of providing marketing, sales, and everything, and prepare one SKU of minimum number of user or whatever it is, whatever metric. That is one way of doing, but which is typically a very big or very time-consuming thing, because these product teams all represent a different kind of KPIs, and they have a selfish reason in terms of maximizing their own value. So
Right.
typically, in my experience, I have seen getting that product team converge on a particular thought process of bundling everything, they take a lot of time, and it require a different kind of approval from product development and so many people, because they will check the implementation feasibility, they will check the interdependencies and so many other things.
Right.
The other creative way of doing it, and which I see is practical, which I can get it done at Adrian and Garrett level, is instead of creating the product bundle, we'll create a commercial bundle, wherein we'll say if we are selling this package where 25 user of this, 30 user of this, 40 user of, we'll create that package, we'll discount that particular package at 50%, 70% of whatever package we can do. Like we can create a commercial bundle where we'll say this is the metric of product which will get involved with this many user, and I need 80% discount on everything or 90% discount on everything, wherein individually we might be giving 70% discount. So for customer, it doesn't matter, but for us, it will give us more approval authority, and product team is not required even in approving it. So that is something which I can make it work. Does it
And
make
this,
sense if we go by
yeah,
that?
and I think this will be good because at least when we go to the customer, rather than just fighting on a single point solution, we can say, hey, by the way, this is the package ready, and this package gives you so many things. The moment you open package, so many wonderful things are already there.
Yeah, I will create a commercial bundle, which basically sum total of entire bundle should give massive advantage to the customer if they go one by one on all the things. It might basically save customers 40 to 50% investment. For us, it will ensure that we have an entry, and it will ensure we have a lot of expansion and business case there. So we can do such things where customer buys, we discount very dirty, provided he goes with multiple components together, and then later we know what is the business benefit we can arrive at based on the potential.
Right. Right. Good.
Okay. So that is a comment. Nitesh, I'll come back to you. But any other comment, Premal, Bharat, Shobit Bhai, Ratnesh Bhai, on all those things?
See, my one just feedback I think I wanted to check with you, Satya, was see somewhere we need to do a next level of segmentation. I know you got the data of all this, but let's also understand that all these customers are in a various maturity models, right?
Yeah,
You have some very high transactions or very reputed banks, but their maturity level and what they're currently doing, and maybe with our competitors, and their competitor may not be even a low cost competitor, is very high. You know,
absolutely.
the likes of Adobe sitting out there, and those people understand this very well, right? It's not
Yeah.
that they don't understand this, they already have something out there.
Mhm.
So we may see a very high volume or as an opportunity, but ability to penetrate this is probably going to be very difficult. Uh,
And that's
the
the reason
second
I
is
am
obviously,
capturing the landscape, current landscape data. So that would help us
mhm.
to
So
now. In fact, I didn't have so much of time to pick up each and every company's landscape.
but maybe we'll have to choose our battles, is what I'm saying. See, second is the
Yeah.
set of the emerging. Uh, in fact, I could break this down into a PSU also, which is a very different one. But if I take the
No, no,
PSUs out,
they
so the
haven't even added any public sector company. There is not a single
hmm,
public
hmm.
sector company is there in my list. Probably except
Yeah. The
LIC would be
second
there.
one, I think we should look at the ones who are growing very fast, whose growth rates over last 2 years or 3 years, they are small. They have
Yeah,
just entered and they're entering. So the idea would be that since they are entering now, they may have been approached, but I think the chances of them looking at us as a growth engine could be very high. So that I think is one thought
yeah,
process which we need to probably, create a
absolutely.
segmentation out of it, whether it's insurance, whether it is banking. So as I said, we should be going to a Bandhan bank versus going to or a Paytm bank or an Airtel bank versus, going towards some of the
Yeah,
more mature kind of a thing.
yeah,
We will grow with them. We may start small, but I think as we grow, as they grow, we'll grow with them.
absolutely. And that's the
So
reason
that
actually
was
I had
one. The
another
sec.
column for FY20 revenue,
Hmm.
but I didn't get time to capture that. It would have shown us what is the growth of these companies so that we can see. Sometimes you don't go by growth because some people want to grow. That's why they want to buy such application. The matured ones will not go for some of these applications because they would have already tried out some of these applications like Adobe or something, and they may not have seen some success, or they may already be seeing some success, so they don't want to go out of those portfolio
Hmm.
right now.
The second thing, see, I think while I'm looking at, see, the bundles, maybe I think as a very transactional and current perspective, see, 31st October responses will be in our data center. I think next 3 months to 4 months, we should be basically blanketing and if we're creating something, we should be around the responses plus plus. So I'm saying
Yes, yes,
could take responses as a base, add a couple of product lines which are very, sync with that. So we have those responses plus plus models, right? Where we can
yeah.
bundle an
No, no.
OC, we can bundle
So
So I
few
am
infinity
telling.
bundles
stream and all
had
that.
responses plus plus only combination because we saw responses is the only product which can bring more than 100K 200K deals. Rest products can be only 30K 40K 50K. That was our initial conversation product management. Shashi approved those bundles, by the way. And so if you go with these
So
bundles,
my suggestion is bringing 31st October this responses. I think we need to create a hype. We need to create a buzz in the market. We need to use PR. We need to use marketing. I think
absolutely.
next 60 to 90 days, if we can attack only to look at some of the segments which we were not able to because of responses not being in India and the very fact that it's a world-class known app, orchestration engine coming to India, let's go focus 3 to 4 months only on that, then
Yeah,
probably
and in
trying
fact, we
to
should create those
sell a
videos and
sales side
success
or
stories
whatever
of
side, right?
existing. Yeah, that's the reason I said that we should have those videos or success stories of our current successful customers. Rakesh, you were saying something. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. So what I was saying is, along with Nitesh, so Nitesh also has a plan, right? Now we have two kind of plans. the plan which you are saying, Satyaj, it is all about one, how to touch the existing opportunity. Second, it is a plan about how to holistically touch upon the entire segment and proactively seed in many things or get into a thick of things which where bank sees a value of getting in touch with Oracle and combining it with the OCI infrastructure and our data strategy, all those stuff, it will make big sense. Now, what I want you to do is, and where I need your help is, if you can, Nitesh, if you can actively contribute along with Ratnesh, two things. One is about this bigger picture. Secondly, whatever Nitesh you want to do specifically to those account where which is a part of our GTM and everything,
Yeah.
plus the kind of bank in a box kind of packages we want to create. So if
Right.
there any suggestion, then what kind of those suggestions is there? Then you only talk about the technical front. What will work. Now, I will involve all the managers together and we'll put a commercial angle to it. If this is the bank in the box and this is the bundle we are talking about, this is what the market will accept. Then what we'll do is, in order to execute it properly, we will ask for not only down, but we'll ask for a higher kind of support from the corporate. One is involving some industry leader like Michelle and everybody. Secondly, asking specifically more marketing related activity and more PR related activity on this front, so that we run it as an integrated program, which we are already trying to do, so that tomorrow we can address our opportunities well, which are already in running, but it can also create new opportunity in the line which we want to create, which is a connected story, so that customer should refrain from creating some kind of siloed kind of approach, and they see a value and they create like that. So Ratnesh, with your help, why don't you create entire program, ask for the resources with the timeline, and I will involve everybody. I'll seek Adrian's approval and Garrett approval, and we'll keep it running, because the potential is huge. And if we don't think innovatively and try to do something which is disruptive, we'll always be talking about few opportunity far and fewer in between. Secondly, we'll not be able to garner the attention of other senior leaders, which are global leader, to give the required kind of support. So why don't you come with that ask? Build upon that. I don't want you to give more work, and let's present it collectively to the higher management, between all of us, and take extra support, maybe BDC support, maybe marketing extra support. And once we have a commitment from the management, then we'll only focus towards this particular activity for that duration.
Okay. So I have a question since everybody is here. Is it possible to compete with Netcore or Mo Engage?
It is definitely possible, yeah. I hope I'm not on mute. Yeah. So definitely, we have some success against Netcore and some of these companies. Of course, there is a price war, but if you have volume, we have seen that we have got a. I don't want to set the wrong expectation here, Rakesh. I know you would not like
No,
that.
no, because I've also
Huh.
been hearing
So I
that
have.
there is a very focused on, especially on the responses, and we know some of the cases which are currently happening on that we can't get
So
into the price war.
Ratnesh, sorry to intervene, but I don't want to compete with them. That is the
Ah,
problem,
that's what I'm
because
saying. See, this
uh,
is
I will compete with a different kind of proposition of it. So
Yeah.
the kind of what we'll say paradigm we want to show them, and the what they are doing currently. Because if we compete with them, then there is no point, right? That's not
Absolutely.
where we will get.
They sell
So
sell it at 1 paisa. So we may
no,
not
that
get
is
that
not.
opportunity.
Yeah, then we are going into something. We are not talking
Absolutely.
about product. We are
Absolutely.
talking about themes here. We are talking
Absolutely.
about making bank self-sufficient, and we are talking about bank not following a sequence, but they get enabled on all the front together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Premal, you want to add, Premal and Shobit bhai?
Just one point over here. This the overall framework, what you have mentioned, Satyajit, is definitely the potential is huge. I just wanted to understand. There was a very detailed exercise which we did during our GTM sessions, where each and every accounts, the BFSI accounts, were segmented based on white space analysis, and we have a very contextual information.
Hmm.
Is this thing getting incorporated? Because while we talk about, okay, will we be able, the responses is a good kind of a solution to go with, fine. In fact, there was a dissection which was been done, and Nitish was a party to most of the GTM discussion, at least in the BFSI sector in my part. So Nitish, your view,
Yeah, and
how
still
much
having
of that,
discussion with some of the
no,
on
that is the reason I'm saying why we are again going back into the drawing board. we have tons of relevant information which is available. If you kind of tell me, Satyajit, the 10 insurance companies which are there, I'm sure there are GTM sheets which are available with Ratnesh, Nitish, where you will get exact information, what HDFCs are doing, what is a white space analysis. Then let's kind of do a very pointed one.
No, Premal, what I am trying to do is there are two kind of things which are working. So whatever we are working with the top companies along with Nitish plan and Ratnesh plan, it will continue to happen. So there is no disruption to that. So we are not trying to approach market in a different way.
Yep.
But what we are trying to build on is, since the market size is huge, if if we don't address the larger segment with the innovative idea, we might run out of the bandwidth, run out of the time where other bank will be already into the journey and will not be there. So whatever we have decided, continue on that, because that is a known thing. But whatever we know, there is more unknown which exists there. And to address that unknown, we need to create enough of drivers or enough indicators, or we need to entice them with the right kind of value proposition and just bombard them with these things. So there are two separate initiatives, but yes, as a theme, all should be connected. I think that is the idea what Satyajit want to show.
Yeah.
And Satyajit, correct me if I'm wrong. This is my understanding.
Absolutely. So the whole idea is, I know some of these top companies are already getting engaged, but there are next set of next 10s or next 20s, which also has a good potential, because these are the people.
No, Satyajit, I'm saying even the top companies, there is a room to engage in a better manner.
Yeah,
I'm saying that those top companies are also the informations which we are having it, at least on the landscape and whatever is there, is available. If we are doing this solution bundling, if we are doing in a kind of a bank in a box or something which are related to a new age companies which are coming in these things, let's do it. I'm saying I'm nothing against it.
समझ
We
गए.
do it in
So
proper manner.
यार शोभित भाई तो है ही नहीं, मैं ही नाम ले जा रहा हूँ यार तब से.
नहीं अभी I think
अच्छा
He pinged saying
अच्छा
that he's leaving.
हाँ, he has
चलो
another
ठीक है.
call at
नहीं
2 o'clock.
Acha,
Because
guys,
यार
I need to
actually
just
half an hour
jump out
call.
here.
नहीं,
I'm
we
in a
all need to
call
jump.
with
Mr.
a
Kola
customer.
and Mr. Bharat Shanmugul, any comment? Shanmugul, you are the first one to do a deal in bank. So what is your comment? है तुम साला silently काम करोगे
Let
क्या?
it
What is your
close,
comment?
Paji, first. Nothing is closed as yet, so let it close
So
first.
tell me, because Chennai and bank, you have a lot of, even Chennai, lot of banks. So Bharat Kola, in your side, I have not seen any big traction coming in bank. So we have a room to do better activities there. So just see, and Nitesh, Satyaj and Ratnesh, you connect separately and just refine this presentation and combine whatever we are doing right now, Nitesh, along with this presentation or whatever you're doing, so that we can, I want to present this particular thing in a very, very objective manner to the management, asking, going through all the potential data and everything, and then asking for a separate fund, separate support, and separate bandwidth. So I can do that, and let's try to expedite that. So Ratnesh, can you help us in putting everything together, so that some point of time I can
Yeah,
present
I
to
think
Adrian and Michelle?
So
so Nitesh, let's do one thing. We were anyway planning along with Sarvagya for this next round, right? So Satya, I'll also get you in that. Let's
Sure.
have that, because we were waiting for this whatever yesterday's virtual event or whatever. Let's get that. I'll Rakesh, what we'll also do is maybe we'll get ask Deep also to join in, and
Okay, you do
with
that,
4
but
to
along
5
with this,
people, I
now,
think let's maybe create.
along with this, you combined whatever Nitesh is doing, we'll continue. But whatever Satya has said, try to make an entire business case of it, and then we'll try to execute in a different way and take everybody's help. And whatever the package, bank in a box, this, whatever we want to present, share all the ideas, so that we can keep our ask about thinking and
See,
help
this is
our
something which
organization
we
to
have
execute.
not thought through earlier, so I think we need to do that.
Okay.
Done.
So
So this
just
is
reward on
this
that, Nitesh. I will
bundling is
require your
something which
help
we have
in
not thought through.
spearheading it here, along with Satya.
yeah, sure, definitely.
Great, yeah. No, great. And Satya, good you took this initiative. Really happy about it, because these are the kind of conversations we should have actually. And we all do it, but let's try to converge more on that. And Bharat Kola and Bharat Shanmugul, I'll seek your comment as well when this strategy
Absolutely.
becomes it. Okay. Done.
Absolutely.
We all need to jump on another call. Thanks, yeah.
Great,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, Paul.
Bye.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.